Hi, I'm just going to chuck this video together to talk about Download Festival. I've written a blog post about this, but in the knowledge that I could just go back and edit that and can't go and edit a video that I've already put up, I thought I'd do this so you can see just how right or wrong I was in any predictions that I decide to make. Um, the idea of this is that I want to see if I can guess what the headliners are going to be in 2021, 2022, and while we're at it, 2023. Now, why? The reason being is that a few friends of mine have been moaning quite a bit about the 2020 headliners because they are playing for the umpteenth time. I think System of a Down is the third time. No, Kiss a third time, System of a Down for the fourth time, and Iron Maiden for the fifth time. Now, not everyone goes every year. I do. This will be my 10th next year if I go. But Download Festival does have a habit of not trying much new with its headliners. The last time that a band headlined for the first time ever was Biffy Clyro in 2017. So by the time it gets to 2021, it will have been 4 years already. And so if there's this constant cycle of bands coming back every 3 or 4 years, it'll be interesting to see if we'll be able to guess what's coming. And so I'm just going to stick this here. I'm not very good at editing this or speaking to the camera, but I just thought it would be interesting. And leave comments below with your guesses as well and see if you agree. And yeah, let's see what happens. First, Biffy Clyro. Biffy have played at Download 6 times and headlined for the first time in 2017. Their album output has been quite infrequent over the years, but unlike other bands who save the festival circuit for the end of an album's era, they tour the festivals almost every year, and there is no way that their return won't be a headline performance. Their next album will be their first in at least 4 years, eagerly anticipated, and probably their third UK number one. They took no issue to headlining Download just 1 year after the release of their last album, Ellipsis, so I expect them to do the same in 2021. Next, Queens of the Stone Age. Now, they've actually only played Download once in the past, and that was when they were second on the bill in 2013 behind, surprise surprise, Iron Maiden. They are due to announce their next album by the end of 2019 or early 2020, so summer 2021 seems like an appropriate time to be touring. And given that they headlined Reading and Leeds in 2017 and pretty much staged their own mini festival in Finsbury Park in 2019, they will definitely be headlining when they return, and Download seems like a worthy location to me. Can you believe it's been 9 years since Metallica last performed at Download? Well, it hasn't been, but it will be in 2021. They are apparently already toying in the studio with their next album. However, if you bear in mind that there was an 8-year gap between Death Magnetic and Hardwired to Self-Destruct, fans could be waiting for a while. But in that gap, they performed several tours that weren't attached to either album. One of these was a 20th anniversary tour of their self-titled Black Album, and I reckon that they might do the same thing for the 25th anniversary of Master of Puppets. And I reckon it'll come to Download. So, why stop there? On to 2022. Now, my first prediction for this is Rammstein. They've performed at Download Festival twice, both of which were obviously headlining shows, and most recently in 2016. And a lot of people assumed that Rammstein would be coming back in 2020, having spotted a very convenient gap in their tour dates. It became apparent that this wouldn't be the case when the nature of their stadium show, where they had to take their own stage from show to show, would not suit a festival stage. An entirely new show would need to be constructed for a festival circuit. However, one has to consider that they haven't even finished their European tour yet, as they're returning to stadiums next summer. And although they performed a few scattered US shows in 2017, they haven't properly toured the US since 2012. And given just how big their shows have been recently, I'm going to take the plunge and say they're going to be touring the US before they head to the festivals, and therefore they'll be prolonging download goers' agony just that bit longer, and they won't be doing 2021 either, and it'll be 2022 before they return. Now, oh boy, a bit of controversy. Bring Me the Horizon. Yes, I said that. Metalheads, this will happen, whether you like it or not. It's just a matter of when. Their 2014 set has gone down in download folklore as a massive disaster because calling your audience for not being as agile as your ego had hoped wasn't going to get them anywhere, and it even silenced all the squealing girls at the front. However, by this point it will have been 8 years ago, and since their music and image has changed so substantially, things might be okay. Download has taken the plunge every so often with acts like Chase and Status and Die Antwoord appearing second on the bill, but with Bring Me on such a roll, I think they'll seal the top spot. If their next album is as big a success as Ammo was, they will have a similar chart record to what Biffy Clyro had when they first headlined. And this will be the next example of a newer band displacing a legend. And I imagine that if they bring a flashy enough show with them, a lot of skeptics might shrug off the problem. And hey, that's what worked for Avenged Sevenfold when people said that they shouldn't have been headliners. More on them a little later. Finally, Black Sabbath. Ozzy Osbourne has said he'd like to perform at the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, and if he's up for that, who knows what state he'll be in at the time, he may well be up for this. Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne have headlined several times, and most recently was a solo set by Ozzy in 2018. Even though he'll be ending his No More Tours 2 tour in mid-2020, he has stated that he will still be open to performing one-off shows, and both he and guitarist Tony have stated that Sabbath might not be over either. I'm going to guess that if they do one of those shows, they're going to do the other one as well. And quickly, just because I can, 2023. That said, there isn't quite as much logic this time. First, Avenged Sevenfold. They've played Download 4 times now and headlined it twice, last in 2018. And they're currently working on what will be their first album in at least 5 years. If they release that album in 2021 and they're still on the festival circuit 2 years later, then this festival will be perfect timing for them. Next, it's Slipknot. Like how everyone says Chris Martin lives under the Pyramid stage at Glastonbury, Corey Taylor likes to remind download goers constantly that Castle Donington is his second home. They're back every 3 or 4 years, so it has to be, doesn't it? And finally, eeny, meeny, miny, System of a Down. It'll only be 3 years since they performed all the way back in 2020, but I think they'll do it again. And no, they still won't have released any new material. And that about does it. If you agree or disagree or have lists of your own, then leave them in the comments below. I'm very curious to find out what everyone else thinks. And I guess I'll be seeing you in 3 years. See ya.